Do what part? What are you doing, Mike? Yeah, that's great. What do you? No, Mike, that's a digital. Mike, there's already a poster there. That's a digital effect. What? There's a digital poster in there. Nobody can see that poster. They can only see the.
It's red. I don't see anything.
It's digital. You're going to put it in post. You've done it before, Mike. They can't even see it. They can see the digital poster that's in front of everything. He's f***ing everything up.
Star Trek, the motion picture.
Well, now that you've told me that we have a digital poster in there, should we switch it with this one?
Yeah, that's a neat poster.
I bought this off eBay.
What is the story with this poster?
I think this is before the movie came out, and this is maybe concept art of what they thought the redesign was going to be.
It's some of the concept art. Well, you can see the markings are in different spots. The NCC 1701.
Yeah, but this is like the TOS kind of side logo and all that.
Plus the nacelles are further out.
Right. It could be concept art from Phase 2, which we'll talk about. Of course.
Did you ever see the Ralph McQuarrie concept art for the Enterprise?
No. Oh, yes, I have.
The one that looks like it had sex with a Star Destroyer?
Yes, it's really weird.
It's really ugly. I'm glad they didn't go with it.
Right.
So we're here, and I'm a little bit confused because you've already done a Star Trek the Motion Picture review, and I'm glad to be here because this is my favorite Star Trek movie. It is not the best Star Trek movie, but it is my favorite Star Trek movie.
Dare I say it's the only Star Trek movie?
I think you are correct in that assessment, yes.
Yeah, I did the original motion picture review with Jim, our friend Jim, and you were very salty at me about that.
Hey, because I've always loved this movie.
Yeah, I didn't. I know.
Everyone always says this movie's the boring one. Oh, it's one of the odd-numbered Star Trek, and it's my favorite Star Trek movie.
I love it, and I talked with Jim endlessly about it, but you wanted to talk about it, and the reason why we're revisiting it is because the 4K Blu-ray came out. And they haven't messed with this movie since the director's edition in 2001. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I want to watch the 4K version. I actually bought a 4K player. I didn't own one.
Yeah.
To watch it. And I did! This doesn't belong here. One thing we didn't really talk about, maybe we did in our old review, was all the changes. The lengthy history of this movie, from its pre-production even, to the production, the rushed completion of it, theatrical release, then the infamous 1983 TV version.
Yes, of course.
Your pre-programming is already set in. It's all on the computer. You'll have no problem.
Then the director's cut, and now the final version. What a story! What a history of weird cuts and changes and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to kind of bring that to the table.
Yeah.
And you're going to kind of throw in your 2 cents on the movie because.
Yeah, I would like to have my 2 cents on the movie.
Rich is a man who has bought this. Rich's favorite ship is the Constitution class refit. And he bought this model, I don't know, 15 years ago?
Technically it was a present, but I did ask for it.
Okay.
But this ship is one of my favorite objects in fiction. Like, not just vehicle, not just Star Trek ship. Starships in general, I think this version of the Enterprise is gorgeous. And I got this like 3-4 years ago. One of the things I do before I die, I want to make this model and I want to do it justice and have it look great. And I am terrified to even open the box. this. I am so intimidated by this. It's the best looking Enterprise.
Yeah. It's tied with the Galaxy class for me, but they're very different things.
If we're talking interiors, the Enterprise D is home. Mm-hmm. But this is the woman that makes me turn my head. Look.
Mm-hmm. So you're the guy in that famous meme?
I'm the guy in the meme, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do a quick Photoshop of that right here. Yeah. So anyways, I did some research. This is the oldest version of Star Trek, the motion picture I could find. This VHS is from 1986.
Okay.
And this is the SLV, as it's known in the community, the special longer version. So I've discovered that there is a group of adults that are older than us, if you could believe they exist, who are the theatrical group, the theatrical gang. Saw it in the theaters. I mean, these people are old.
Yeah.
Saw it in the theaters, maybe early versions of home video, Laserdisc, a VHS or two, but then 83 hit, that's us. Mm-hmm. We are the special longer version generation. Right?
So I've probably never seen the actual original theatrical cut.
Well,
I tried to find it. For this. I wanted to watch the theatrical, like the original, and then the special. Oh, you have it.
Well, let me explain.
Yeah.
We're the SLV generation, the special longer version. Up until 2001 comes around, the director's edition. When it's remastered, Robert Wise was still alive. I think he died like 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
But it was like his last project. And he's like, I want to help fix this movie up, and I'll do that. It's on Paramount. I'll tell you what I want to. The list of things that are taken out and put back in and taken out again is, mind-numbing. I attempted to kind of rally and organize some of it. I'm gonna only hit the key ones, okay? Uh-huh. But the director's edition is the next one, so you have the theatrical.
Yeah.
They added a ton of footage, 12 minutes or something like that.
Just to get it to fit on a TV runtime.
That's the thing. It was a special event on TV that was going to be 3 hours of broadcast television. So it's like 2 hours and, I don't know, 17 minutes, but 143 minutes, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is commercials. So then they added stuff back in, and then in this, Robert Wise said, oh, that's not bad. Let's put that in the director's version. Oh, no, take that back out.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
And they also redid some of the effects in that version?
Yeah. That's important. So this is an SLV. This the famous 1996, 95. The famous, you put all the ships
spines
together.
and it would make the Enterprise, yeah.
That's a SLV. Oh, God. This is a special longer version. This is 88, so this is after that. And then these ugly ass things. This DVD release, I don't know what year this is, like 2013? For some reason, this is the theatrical cut.
Oh!
Same with this on Blu-ray.
After the director's cut was a thing.
The theatrical cut came back out on, because it doesn't say special longer version or director's version. Uh-huh. It should say theatrical version.
Yeah.
But this is 131 minutes. This is 143. And the director is, I believe, 136. Yep, 136 minutes. I think they reissued these. Perhaps they didn't have the licensing for this one, and they had the licensing for this. Or they found a print of the theatrical, and let's scan that.
Or maybe they were thinking, well, we don't want to pull a George Lucas and bury the original.
That was some of the controversy with this, was that they redid some effects. And some people might say, you're being a hypocrite if you hate the totally different thing. They fixed like 2 shots. They added visual effects for 2 shots that really desperately needed it.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3 or 4 shots, but
I know Vulcan.
Yes, that's a big one. Remastering some of the shots and then fixing a lot of the miniatures, the compositions, stuff like that.
Star Trek, the motion picture, rated G.
Now, what do you suggest we do? Spank it.
What would you like to talk about first?
Yeah, wherever you want to go. I guess we're already talking about the changes. So
Okay,
let's stick with that.
Let's talk about there's visual effects and then there's like human moments, like lines and things like that. So let's talk about the VFX. You mentioned the Vulcan statues, right? Mm-hmm. So the theatrical cut and the special longer version, because they hadn't done that effect yet, they originally had planned out for Vulcan to have those big statues, right? Mm-hmm. And they're set where Spock goes up to the Vulcan priestess and is going to be given his
necklace. Yeah.
And Spock is like praying on the ground, and then he looks up and he goes like this, like the sun is blinding him. Mm-hmm. And then the next shot is just like Vulcan, and it's like nighttime.
Yeah.
There's space, and it's like what? For this version, the director's edition, they added the matte painting, the digital matte painting of the big Vulcan guys, and they have they got the thing, the blade on the end.
It was like a head that broke off on the ground somewhere too.
Yeah, that's in the other shot. And then they added like a sunset-y kind of sky and orange clouds and all that. It looks very nice. They did that in this. When they had to go to 4K, they redid it, upped the resolution, made it better, but kept it basically the same. Uh-huh. For this director's edition and the 4K, they upgraded the Starfleet Command stuff, San Francisco, the skyline, the perspective of the bridge, the ships flying around, mm-hmm. The establishing shot before Kirk lands and gets off the shuttle. So they added like buildings in the background and, that's kind of spruced that up a little, because really it was just this like really ugly shot of like San Francisco. They just didn't add a matte painting, I don't think, or it was just a very minimal one.
Well, I know they were hugely rushed for time when they made it originally. So yeah. In the theatrical cut, like near the end when V'ger's about to destroy the Earth, I was watching this. They had actual shots of V'ger without the cloud. I don't remember seeing that like originally. Was that something added in the directors?
Just describe the shot you saw.
It's just like just V'ger's exterior over Earth without the space clouds everywhere.
Yes. Well, once V'ger gets towards Earth, there's a shot in the theatrical and the special longer version where you can see Earth approaching, mm-hmm. and then you could kind of see some parts of the V'ger ship on the bottom of the screen.
Cloud dissipating rapidly as it approaches.
For the newer versions, they full-on show the robot V'ger space vehicle as the clouds dissipate. And it kind of looks, it's like this weird oblong-shaped ship.
Yeah.
It's like a large spaceship.
Oddly, ironically enough, kind of phallic.
Yes. It's just like a generic like space vehicle.
Yeah.
But it helps contextualize what's happening.
Right.
Which is another minor change, and this falls into dialogue. You might find this interesting. Earlier versions of the film, when Kirk has the crew assembled in the lounge, and they're showing them on the screen, mm-hmm. and they're talking to the Epsilon 9 space station people, and he's like, the V'ger cloud, it measures.
My God, over 82 AUs in diameter. Must be something incredible inside there generating it.
Which is insanely big.
You know what an AU is.
Yeah, it's just between the Earth and the Sun.
It's nice to talk to a fellow peer who understands things. No one knows. Astronomical unit is the distance.
It's very big.
82 AUs is huge.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, if they're traveling at sublight speeds, it would take years to reach the center of the V'ger. So they cut it down to 2. They cut them, and he's like, my God, the distance is, and then they cut to like people like listening.
Oh.
2 AUs in diameter. It's a little clunky, but it works, and it's like, okay.
Measures, my God, over 2 AUs in diameter. Must be something incredible inside there generating it.
Like only super nerds would have even thought about that.
I didn't even notice the cut.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
it worked.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. This is coming from the guy who complained that Sauron's rocket, steam-powered rocket, wouldn't reach the Viridian 3 sun in 2 seconds, right?
Yeah. When it comes to Star Trek, I hold these things. The Star Trek needs to get science more right than Star Wars does.
The rock bridge.
Oh, yeah.
The rock bridge forms. In the specialized versions, when in the original version it just sort of is there.
Does it fade in? Do they do that?
It kind of goes. They sort of like assemble. Like.
Oh yeah, in the special edition. I mean, the original, don't they even fade in, or is it just there?
I think it just cuts.
Cuts to it,
and it's there. Yeah. Escaping the wormhole ending. So Kirk accidentally creates a wormhole via ignorance.
Yeah.
Because we gotta have warp drive now. The imbalance in the warp engines created the wormhole, and then there's a space rock coming at them. Next mistake he wants to do is fire the phasers. Decker says nope, and then you got to use photon torpedoes. They fire the torpedo, and in the original versions, it just cuts. Oh, and then Chekhov says, "We're out."
We're out of it.
Which was later cut as well. But in the updated versions, director's cut and 4K version, they added a beautiful shot of the Enterprise firing a torpedo and hitting it with an exterior shot.
Yeah.
A couple of fixes here and there help, because it can be a little muddling about what's happening. A good example would be V'ger fires the first offensive weapon at the Enterprise. You know, in the beginning, the V'ger probe kills the 3 Klingon ships, right?
Yeah, and then the station.
And so that gives us, like, you know, we're now in the position of the Enterprise. They're in the same position as the Klingons. That gives us a little tension.
Yeah.
My God, these energy weapons that V'ger's firing at the Enterprise are pretty devastating. First one hits, right? Their shields absorb it, although Chekhov gets some burns on his hands. Shields are gone. Next one's coming. Spock realizes V'ger's communicating in radio waves, which was so below the Enterprise's means, they didn't even think about it. He's like, oh. Well. and Spock's working on the transmission, and Kirk's like, Spock, transmit now.
It's great stuff.
Transmit now, Spock. And he's just ignoring him. I'm working, leave him alone. And then Spock gets the message through. The V'ger decides to stop its attack. And how does it happen?
It just fades out, it vanishes.
On the view screen,
yeah.
Right? It almost looks like they have the effect that someone like pulled a black sheet up above it. It's just fucking ugly. Now, when you watch the special edition, we get this beautiful exterior shot of the CGI Enterprise, great, looks great. I could clearly understand what happened. And then similarly at the end, when V'ger launches its probes around the Earth, it sends probes like all over the planet to like threaten it. Those are kind of spruced up, because before they were kind of ugly. One very cute little tiny detail in the 4K version only,
okay,
not the 2001 Director's Edition, is when the final approach of the Enterprise inside the V'ger cloud ship, wherever they're at, Enterprise is like this big in the frame, and all other versions is just heading straight towards the final destination, which is like the actual Voyager probe.
Yeah.
And I think they added a little turn.
Oh yeah.
Like the Enterprise is just kind of like
drifting,
spinning out of control, and then brother, it's just like this flat, two-dimensional shot of the ship from a huge distance, vast distance, and they give it a little 3D spin.
Nice. I'll have to pay more attention to that. I didn't notice.
Tiny, tiny, and then the V'ger explosion at the end is extended, so you can see the ship, the V'ger robot ship.
Okay, that's something I don't remember noticing before. So okay.
And that's really it?
You know what I find interesting about all the changes they've made to this movie all the time?
Yeah.
The one complaint this movie gets is, the pacing, those long lingering shots, and I think to their credit, I don't think any of the special editions have been shorter. They've all been longer, slightly longer. They've never cut anything out to fix the pacing.
So I synced up the sequences. The two big sequences that people complain about are Scotty takes Kirk in the shuttle pod on a beauty pass around the Enterprise.
Yeah.
People say that's too long. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the big one is traveling into the V'ger probe.
Which, that's all important to me, because Star Trek is about discovery, and that's what they're doing
right.
in the shots. They're seeing this amazing thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the pacing is important. Slow pacing is important.
It's only bad pacing if you're not enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Something can be slow and good.
Well, the traveling to Enterprise, 6 minutes runtime. I timed it with all the versions, and they're all basically the same. Mm-hmm. Same with the Voyager sequence from when Kirk gives the order to enter the Voyager probe. 11 minutes. The 2001 and after is 9.
Okay, so they did cut a little bit out.
A little bit, and there's variations of cutaways, and I think what they cut out were lines, like lines of dialogue, when they talk about the power. The
12th level energy.
Yeah. I think they cut some of that out, and they just cut to different reactions. It doesn't sync up perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's not really like obvious where it's like half of it is exactly the same. Then there's a line. It's just like they show Ilea here, and then they show Sulu looking, and there's a longer shot of this, and maybe tighten that up. The thing is, though, is like those V'ger effects, I believe, were all like hand-painted glass, like layers and layers and layers and layers of glass. Yeah. That they photographed to give all those different motion layers, the parallaxing effect and all that. And it's a lot of work. Yeah. So I would feel bad just like.
They're all dead now anyway.
So then when you watch, like, I don't know, theatrical, special longer version, thing that always bugged me, the compositing of miniature effects with the live action stuff, specifically the tour around the Enterprise, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you ever noticed any of this, but some hairs, film dust, like weird things like that. Because I think when they shoot those miniatures, it's a smaller camera. Maybe they're not cleaning it properly. It's just like you get a lot of junk, little film specks and all that, and it's all clean. And then I think there's some I always thought the Klingon ships in the beginning were a little too they're a little too bright. They stood out too much. Then you have the ugly outline. Mm-hmm. And I think they did their best to minimize that. They kind of darkened the ships a little, made them blend in better. Just general digital cleanup. Mm-hmm. Stabilization, digital cleanup, all of it, that the beauty passes look amazing. Except for one shot where the Enterprise is a little soft in the focus. It's always bugged me. By the way, I wanted to mention, I talked a lot about the sexual nature of this film. It's the sexiest movie ever made.
I want to get back into that because I have an elaboration on that.
Bet you do.
Yeah.
You may proceed.
I noticed one more sexual subtext.
Yeah.
And it's something else. When Kirk gives the order to enter the V'ger orifice, the V'ger probe, we're going in. I forget what he says. Dun 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 dun. The music starts and cuts to Kirk, and he gets in his captain's chair, and then his little headrest.
I did notice that. I did notice that. And he's very satisfied.
His chair gets an erection.
Steady as she goes.
I mean,
Now, what do you suggest we do? Spank it.
to me, if I were to have this film, and Robert Wise is the director, of course, so he had the say in 2001 of what he wants to keep and what he doesn't, because he's a fucking director. But if it were up to me, and I wanted people to like this movie more, I would keep in all the human elements, character elements possible. So here's some simple ones. After the incident with the wormhole, Kirk says, "Come with me, Decker." Right? Come to my quarters.
I'm going to chew you out.
I'm going to chew you out. And Kirk ends up eating some humble pie because Decker kind of lays it down.
He's absolutely right.
You don't know what you're doing, and well, I imagine you'll help me along during this process. He says, "You're dismissed, Decker." Decker leaves, and cuts to him running into Ilea in the hallway or whatever.
Make your point, Doctor.
In the longer version they added in, and it just cuts to Kirk, and this is the version I always remember, because we are special longer version kids, is it starts off with Bones, and his first line is, "And another thing."
And another thing. Get out of here, Bones.
Get out of here, Bones. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't really remember, but
Get out of here, Bones. And then Bones continues on.
yeah.
So there's that one little moment, and Robert Wise apparently thought it made Jim Kirk seem like an asshole.
He's supposed to seem like an asshole. He's supposed to seem like an asshole.
That's their relationship, right? Get out of here, Bones. And I was like, that's great. Got cut from the theatrical. Got cut from the director's version even. It's only in this. Not in this. Then there's another moment in the crew lounge when the whole crew's assembled and they're watching the Epsilon 9 space station get destroyed, right? And it gets wiped out. I don't know what camera is still floating in space filming that. I'm not sure.
It's fine. It's fine.
Kirk says...
Oh, you know what it is? It's that one guy you see who's floating away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably on his helmet. Okay. That one guy who's just fucked.
Okay. But Kirk says, "Viewer off."
Viewer off.
There's an awkward pause. Uhura's still looking up at the screen like horrified.
Yes.
Then he goes, "Viewer off."
Viewer off.
And because everyone looks over to Uhura, it's her job to shut off the viewer. And he goes, "Viewer off." And then she runs over and shuts it off. Perfect, because it gives you that little beat. Uhura is horrified, and that translates to us, the audience, like, if Uhura's horrified after all the shit she's seen on the 5-year mission.
Anytime's a good time.
If a man tells another man, "Out of my way," he piles up trouble.
This must be pretty bad.
Yes.
Director's cut, special 4K edition. Kirk says, "Viewer off," cuts to Uhura going and shutting it off.
Is that not in the...
Nope.
Oh, wow.
It's because Robert Wise felt also Kirk appeared too bossy and mean. Theatrical cut. Kirk comes on the bridge, he has that moment where he's like, "I'm returning to the bridge." He opens the door and it's chaos, right? Blah, blah, blah. Talking. Does Decker know? I don't know. I'm going back down to engineering. Closes the door, cuts to him walking through a hallway in engineering. special longer version edition, they added the extra scene. After the doors close and Kirk leaves, that weird guy with the sparkling eyes and the giant forehead,
yeah,
he's like, Captain Decker's been with the ship for all of its retrofit. He's going to have hurt feelings when, you know. And then Uhura goes, you know, our chances from returning from this mission may have just doubled. Bam. Cut from theatrical, added back in to special longer version TV version, but then kept in director's version.
Yeah.
Because Robert Wise said, hey, that's not bad. I can't keep track of this stuff. And then, oh yeah.
That's an important line. I'd keep that one.
That's the thing. And then there's like stuff with Ilea and Sulu. Sulu's like, you know, stumbling over himself because he's in love with Ilea. I must remind you of my celibacy. And there's like stuff like that in there. And then there's a big difference. I don't know if you remember this part. This is in the special longer version, but not theatrical. Okay. So this is our generation. Yeah, let's see if you remember it.
I'll say it. Okay.
Chekhov gets his hand burned when the V'ger probe launches a weapon, and they get zapped.
Yeah.
And, he screams. Chapel comes to the bridge, is about to spray him with the little spray, and then Ilea goes, wait, let me, I can heal his pain. And she comes over, and she doesn't heal the wound, but
she takes his pain away.
Takes his pain away. Only in the longer version. Theatrical, Nurse Chapel just comes over and goes, psst. No Ilea involvement.
Yeah.
Ilea involvement or no Ilea involvement? What would you prefer?
I prefer Ilea involvement.
It beefs up her character a
yes, a little bit character moment.
So then Chekhov is just kind of there. They don't show him leave. And then in the longer version, they added the footage where he comes back. He comes back and he relieves some lady who's at his tactical station. And he goes, I'll take over now. It really kind of does feel like cut footage. And then the, during the initial attack, this always stood out to me in the special longer version, is Uhura is yelling on the Khan so much that her voice gives out.
Starfleet Command, this is the Enterprise. Do you read? Come in, please. This is the Starship Enterprise. Starfleet Command, do you read?
They just have footage of her, and it's like 4 minutes long, and she's like, Enterprise to Starfleet Command, we are under attack. Enterprise to Starfleet Command. Repeat, we are under attack.
Starfleet Command,
Enterprise
this is the
to
Enterprise.
Starfleet Command, we are under attack.
Friendship messages
Enterprise,
on all channels.
Enterprise.
No reply
Raising
to friendship
Starfleet
messages.
Command. We are under
Starfleet,
attack.
do you read? This is the Enterprise. We are under attack.
And it just goes on for way too long. And I don't know what the fate of that shot was. I think they probably cut that out because it was just like, hey, here's a point. We got to get this to 3 hours. Let's use that.
Not for us. No, Captain, not for us. For V'ger.
1979 theatrical version scenes. It's in the...
Okay, it's in the new one.
Was not in the first one. And I think then wisely added to the 4K post Director's Edition 2001 is Spock weeps for V'ger. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that not being in the movie, so...
It was not in the 1979 theatrical version because...
Yeah, I always remember that being in there.
That's one we didn't see because we... I don't know. I wasn't alive. You were... I was alive, but I was...
I mean, I was like 2.
I was a baby. I was
2.
Yeah. So we weren't watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture between 1979 and 1983.
Yeah.
We were shitting our pants. and rolling around on the floor.
I weep for V'ger as I would for a brother.
They thought Spock crying and showing emotion was too much, even though that's the point. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the reason for cutting that out. It's a great scene. It's a great shot.
This is another one too. There's an extended sickbay scene when Spock comes back from his mind meld. He's there, and then he talks to Spock, and they do the thing. So this moment, Jim.
He can't comprehend the simple feeling.
This important moment. Then Kirk walks away, and he's like, "I need Spock right on the bridge as soon as possible." And then Chapel, I think she's like 2 cc's of cortisone. Blah, blah. Then it just cuts the V'ger exterior, but in the theatrical, Kirk and Bones speculate. Kirk says, a machine planet sending a machine to Earth to look for its creator.
I need Spock on the bridge.
Dalphiline, 5 cc's.
A machine planet sending a machine to Earth looking for its creator. It's absolutely incredible.
And I was like, okay, that kind of gives away the ending.
I don't ever remember hearing that line.
That's a cut.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a line from Decker when he says, we all make God in our own image. Just a couple of things. And, you know, I understand why a filmmaker might want to remove or add a line. They just feel like it changes something. And, you know, that's not our decision to make. My opinion, as long as it doesn't spoil anything or give away too much, keep every bit of human emotion in here.
Why has the captain ordered self-destruct, sir?
I would say, lass, because he thinks, he hopes, that when we go up, we'll take the intruder with us.
Will we?
When that much matter and antimatter are brought together. Oh, yes, we will indeed.
But the big one is when Kirk leaves the Enterprise. You know about this?
Which is this? Which version is this from originally? And
SLV, special longer version.
I have successfully penetrated the next chamber of the alien's interior.
Okay, so Spock wants to go out and mind meld with V'ger.
Yeah.
He goes into the little hangar bay and Vulcan neck pinches the guy. He steals the suit and heads out. And goes and does his thing. And Kirk's like, Spock is out there. And then it cuts. Finally, when Spock flies back out, Kirk is there waiting for him to catch him in the little spacesuit, right?
I remember that, yes.
In the special longer version, because they needed more footage, there's a whole sequence where Kirk is getting suited up in a spacesuit, and Bones is there.
I don't want him stopped. I want him to lead me to whatever's out there. And if that whatever has taken over his mind, then he'll still have led me to it, won't he?
And he's like, what are you planning to do, Jim? I'm going to go out and get Spock. What the hell do you think I'm doing? Blah, blah, blah. Then it cuts to Kirk, and there's, you know, the airlock, like kind of a medium shot of the airlock, and Kirk says, oh, I'm going to go out the airlock. and then it cuts to a wide of the airlock, and Kirk flies out, you know, he's attached to wires, and he's floating around. But it's actually on the TV version. They just threw it in there and nobody noticed or cared. The shot is unfinished. You could see the Enterprise hull around the airlock, but everywhere else is like wood and sets. It's like light flags and the thing like lifting Kirk on the string. It's all in the frame. It was meant to have a matte painting around it to widen the shot so you could see more of the ship, but it was unfinished and they just left it in. Oh yeah, that's another thing. This is a very small mention. If this was a George Lucas production, remaster, special edition made by George Lucas, the wall of historic Enterprises.
All those vessels were called Enterprise.
In the crew lounge would have added the
NX.
The NX, yeah, NX-01.
Yeah. I don't care.
I don't care. Leave the film the way it is.
Yes.
Now, what do you suggest we do? Spank it.
Shall we give the Enterprise a proper shakedown? I would say it's time for that, sir. Aye.
Oh, well, let's talk about the film now.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Because we're talking about, I guess the thing I most want to talk about, let's start there, like the whole, we talk about the
Stephen Collins?
No.
You know, there's a new show out. It's a documentary series. And he's the subject of the very first episode.
Yeah.
The show is called Hollywood Demons.
Sometimes when I watch this, it does hinder my enjoyment of this movie when he's on screen. Yeah.
What types of recreation does the crew aboard your vessel enjoy?
The
examination is a normal function.
So, briefly, we're going to talk about the story of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It started out as an attempt to reboot the TV series, Star Trek Phase 2, they were going to call it, because the original show ran for 3 seasons, 79 episodes. I believe it was shy of making it into syndication, which you needed 100 episodes, but for some reason
it went in anyway because it was so nichely popular.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge hit, and then in syndication it exploded and got bigger over the years, people watching it over and over and over again. So they said, let's start making a new show called Star Trek Phase 2. They began pre-production, screen tests, casting people. Ilea, Persis Kambata was a character. They had a new Spock, because Nimoy wasn't available.
Right.
Called Zahn. They started to build sets, design ships, which I think...
They had scripts, some of which I think survived into Star Trek The Next Generation.
Correct, yes. As ships design, which that could be pre-production art from that.
Actually, Will Decker and Ilea, they're basically Will Riker and Deanna Troi.
Yes, yeah. So lots of used ideas ended up in this movie, and I think this movie was because Star Wars, 77, let's make a movie, and so all that kind of ended up in the movie.
Like, is the script for this basically what the pilot was going to be for Phase 2? Yeah.
And so the movie, we just kind of like jump into the world of Star Trek again, and we're not like, I like that there's no, it's just like his name is Montgomery Scott. They don't, every character isn't given like their own like dramatic return. It's just like they're all just there working. That's what I like about Star Trek is this, it's just people working in space. And Kirk is just, I don't know how many years were in between.
15. Well, I don't know in universe, but
yeah.
When was it canceled? Like 65 roughly, 64?
69. 67 to 69.
Was it 67 to okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So real time is different.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Decker says you haven't logged a single space hour in 2.5 years or something. So I think there were adventures in between that, and then they said we're going to refit the Enterprise. Kirk got pushed up to Admiral, and then they spent 2 years like retrofitting the Enterprise. And I think that's what happened. I don't know for sure, but Scotty's there. Kirk just says, "Oh, hi, Scotty."
I love it that for the most part our characters aren't doing the exact same things they were the last time we see them.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say to this movie. Here's what I want to add. You'd said that this is the sexiest movie ever made, right? And I think most people when they analyze this movie and they see the V'ger orifice, V'ger is a space vagina, and they stop there. I don't think people see the forest through the trees. Here's my take. V'ger is not a space vagina. V'ger has a space vagina because V'ger is a space womb. V'ger is a magical space womb that rebirths things. Okay? And at the start of this movie, Kirk, he doesn't belong on the Enterprise anymore. He's kind of the antagonist. He's the Admiral. He's trying to relive his glory days, and he doesn't realize that the truth is, it's gone. It's in his past, and he's desperately trying to put this back together. Spock, the old Spock we knew, completely different personnel. He's not the old Spock anymore. He's the new Spock who has abandoned his humanity. McCoy himself does not want anything to even do with Starfleet. So the 3 characters, completely different than how we knew them. The franchise, the Enterprise, the Star Trek franchise is dead. It's been dead for 10 years in real time. And it's not until the ship goes into the magical space womb that everything is magically reborn.
Would you consider the larger visual of the V'ger probe as a space womb and or a space egg, the Enterprise as a sperm?
It's not, it's a sperm. It's a sperm fertilizing an egg, not a penis going into a vagina.
Okay. Although that is part of the reproductive process.
This movie is concerned with sex only so much as sex is necessary for reproduction.
The goal was to have all of our characters be in completely different places in their lives, but then by the end...
Oh, you get to that last scene after the Enterprise is like metaphorically born out of the exploding V'ger, and suddenly on the bridge, the tone completely changes. This is a serious movie, and suddenly they're joking around just like old times, because the magic of V'ger has recreated the old Star Trek. The Enterprise is its old self again.
Well, it's been a long time since I delivered a baby, and I hope we got this one off to a good start. I hope so, too.
And Kirk very conveniently got rid of his competition.
Kirk is magically reborn. Kirk did not belong on the Enterprise, but now after going through the V'ger experience, he belongs on that ship again.
It's about finding where you belong.
Yes, it is.
Decker and Ilea, they belong together.
Decker, don't. Jim, I want this. As much as you wanted the Enterprise, I want this.
Don't. Okay, do you really want to merge with Ilea and the V'ger probe? No, don't. Come back. Bones, let's go. Spock, let's go. Okay.
I've gotten everything I wanted.
I've
learned nothing. I've learned nothing and prospered.
Kirk knew where he belonged.
Yeah.
He's not a villain per se. He's just trying to get back to where
he's not a mustache twirling villain, but he is the antagonist. He goes in, he muscles his way onto the ship. At that point, it is rightfully Decker's ship.
Yeah.
And he uses his admiral powers to shove Decker out of the way. Now, the transporter accident. Why does that happen? The accident happens right after Kirk talks to Decker, right?
Yeah.
And Kirk orders Decker up to the bridge. You know what Decker was doing when Kirk went down to talk to him? He was fixing the transporters.
Dilithium crystals.
I knew it.
Air supply ducts
The
open.
transporter sensor was not activated.
Air equalization automatic.
Kirk is responsible for that.
Report to the bridge, Commander.
Transporter room, come in, urgent.
The Vulcan and that poor lady.
The Vulcan, because he wanted to recreate Spock, because he's desperately trying to relive his glory days.
Report to me in 1 hour.
So he got that guy killed because we need a Vulcan science officer, because I want to be the old days again. And then also the transporter accident because he got rid of the guy who was fixing the fucking ship. Kirk fucks up by causing the wormhole. Decker's the one who knows how to fix that problem, because at that point in the movie, the ship is rightfully Decker's. That weird alien with the eyes is absolutely right. Decker's been here every moment of this ship's refit.
But Kirk did make a couple of good decisions, in regards to dealing with the V'ger orifice.
I think once they're in the V'ger orifice, that's where the magic starts to happen.
Right, yeah.
I think my favorite scene in the movie is when he starts treating V'ger like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk unit, disclose the information.
No.
Yeah.
That is the moment in that movie when the old Kirk is like fully back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The motion picture is the best Star Trek movie that could possibly exist if you are a fan of TOS.
They explore a strange, weird, new thing. It has interesting science fiction ideas. It's an exploration of humanity, what it means to be human, why emotions are important.
Change.
And they don't shoot.
Finding your place in the universe.
They don't have a sword fight with a supervillain who's got a scar on his cheek.
Captain, I believe that is our destination.
It was all downhill from Wrath of Khan on.
I love The Wrath of Khan as a movie, but damn, did it set some bad precedents.
And that's where it started.
Leonard Nimoy knows exactly how to play Spock right, because you can tell he's off when he shows up in the beginning. Like to the stupid layperson, Vulcans don't have emotion. And that's never really been true, because you can tell it just by how off Spock seems in that early part of the movie when he has no emotions guiding him at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not until the end when Spock feels like Spock, because there's always somewhere in the back of Spock's head that the humanity like guiding him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Vulcan. It's like a human Vulcan merger.
Yeah. He's half human. So
yeah.
It's his inner struggle. It's dichotomy. That's what makes his character. He's not a boring Vulcan. He's suppressing those little human moments. The famous moment is when he thought he murdered Jim in the Vulcan ritual thing. And he just bursts out, "Jim!"
Don't you think you better check with me first?
Captain. Jim!
My hot take is I don't like 4 all that much. I don't hate 4. I don't like 4 as much as other people love 4. It's just such a gimmick. The gimmick of the crew, we're seeing them on Earth at our time. Isn't that cute?
I like the weird plot, the sciencey, bizarro plot of
whales.
An alien probe wants to talk to whales. That's just amazing. They would never do that now.
Yeah, you were right about that.
They would never.
You're right about that.
What? What are you talking about? Where's the bad guy with the scar on his face who has a super weapon? What? A probe wants to talk to whales? It's like an indirect antagonist. It's like a completely indirect antagonist.
If J.J. Abrams made that movie, would there on the whale probe, would there be like a whale captain with a scar on his whale face that wants revenge for what humans did to the whales?
There'd be a sequence where the sausage would open up a door and thousands of little spaceships would fly down looking for the whales. And then, we have to fire back at them, launch all defense systems, and there'd be a huge battle where they fight all the little ships and explosions, and then the Beastie Boys would play. My drone warriors have failed to locate the whales. You have 1 hour until you produce a whale, or else I will fire my sausage rocket down at the planet and will eliminate every oxygen-breathing creature until I find the whales. I will set your atmosphere on fire.
Release the sperm! Whale ships!
And then Kirk and Spock would have to fly up to the sausage probe wearing like space armor, and they would get on board and they would fight like minions that would run around and blow up things. There'd be 10 seconds till he launches the thing. And
well, there'd be some kind of like, they'd be in a room with like a bunch of like lasers, and then they would like throw people into the lasers and they get vaporized in the energy room.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Yeah. Sure. Action.
Rotating lasers that they have to dodge around while fighting hand-to-hand combat.
I think we gave it the ability to create its own sense of purpose. Out of our own human weaknesses. And the drive that compels us to overcome them.
Interrogative from Starfleet. They're requesting damage and injury reports and complete vessel status.
Report 2 casualties. Vessel status fully operational.
Did you talk about the music much with Jim?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because I love the music in this movie. Sorry, I'm just trying to. If you want to close it up, I just trying to go back. If you want to talk about this movie more before we wrap it up, wrap it up.
What about the music?
The score to this movie?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What about it?
Is it good?
Yeah, it's amazing. All right.
Well, you said it.
Wow.
What else do you want to say? The music's good. Cool story, bro. Look, I got shit to do.
Okay.